Hello, my name is Piedrahita. I'm from Colombia. I'm biomedical engineer. Today I'm going to talk about business communication. What is communication? Communication exists as a process inherent to human nature. This process is sending and receiving messages in a certain context using the right channel. The noise in communication is any disruption that interferes with the transmission and interpretation of the message from the sender to the receiver. In all the communication process has a feedback. In general, communication is important, and without communication, people will not be able to share information. Talking about business communication, if we walk through the hall of any company, what do you see? Seniors or director or any employee drafting emails, talking on the phone, conducting an interview, leading a conference, writing a report. In short, you see people communicating. The communication process always has an objective. All the information we share has a purpose: inform, teach, train, stimulate, encourage, motivate. All of them are objective. And it's fundamental that we reflect about our objective. There are some questions that you need to ask yourself. Who? The audience. Who are you going to address? What is the message, the idea, the information? Why? What do you want to get sharing that idea? Is the intention? Why? What do you want to get? Then is how. Is the channel that you will use to transmit your information. And where? You need to choose the right place and the right time to do it. In communication, the information is one of the most valuable resources that companies and people have to develop or to perform daily activities, to work in a team. And all of this is for the general success of the organization. In business, people must communicate to share information. This information can be related to a product, services, or any activity from the organization. To plan new strategies, new ideas, to coordinate activities, make better decisions, and to make improvements. Communication can be internal or external. The internal communication can be formal or informal, and that communication takes place between members of the organization. The external communication takes place between members of the company, of the organization, from external environment. Could be a client, could be a customer, or another company. Could be formal or informal. External communication is mostly formal communication, and internal communication can be formal or informal. There are 3 different channels to communicate. The first one is verbal, is a speech. Could be face-to-face communication, talking on the phone, or audio recording. The advantage of this channel is that you can get immediate response to questions and direct feedback. The disadvantage is that sometimes for the busy environment, it's very difficult to meet people face to face. The written information could be composed, edited, or transmitted by email or by post. The advantage is that you can keep physical record information of that process and allows to the receiver to read as many times as necessary to better understanding and to better interpretation of the message. The disadvantage is the long periods of times that people have to wait for an answer, because this depends too of how often people check their emails. Non-verbal communication is the body language. It could be positive or could be negative. The body language is a silent message. Body language is all the non-verbal communication that we make, conscious or unconscious. Body language can function as a backup of the words that we use, or can betray our real intentions. The components of body language: facial expressions. Our faces are very expressive, and we have to be careful when we receive positive or negative feedback in a communication process. The body posture you can demonstrate confidence. You show interest in the conversation, and you can reinforce your position and your message. The eyes contact is essential in business communication, conveys sincerity and trust, and retain the attention of the audience. Gestures. Sometimes moving our hands help to the audience to better understand what are we explaining, but at the same time this can become a distraction. The parents is fundamental in face-to-face communication because it's the first contact that we have, visual. Face-to-face communication is one of the most effective ways to communicate because it offers immediate response to questions, misinterpretations, and feedback. Also, in business environment, it offers improvement. Build stronger and more meaningful relationships. Expand your network and enhance readability and trust. A good speech is really enjoyable and informative, and it's important to recognize the qualities. Clear. Successful speeches are fully dependent on the clarity of the idea. Concise. Less words, more information. Sometimes people, they don't want to know the journey. They want to know the destination. So that is how you're going to get to the point quickly. Audience-oriented. It's a connection that you build with the audience from the beginning to the end of your speech. Authentic. Is all that information you share needs to be true. Well organized. Your message or your idea should be organized in a logical sequence to retain the attention of the audience. These elements are very important in communication. For effective communication, it's important to know which channel are you going to use to transmit your information. First, you need to know your audience. Who are you going to talk? Who are you going to address? If you are going to talk to the managers, to directors, you need to know your audience. Then you need to plan. That takes me back to the questions that you need to ask yourself. You need to plan your message, you need to plan your idea. And then you need to evaluate the cost. You need to know how much you will pay to use that channel. If you are going to use interactive media, if you are going to use social media, to know what people is thinking about your products or your services or activities of your company. In all of this process, for get a better decision, for make a better decision, you need to work with a teamwork with a strong communication skills. Customers who think that a company needs and understand their needs, they will come back for a future business visit. But customers who feel ignored, they will not return. Elements for an effective communication. Be a good listener. Be a good listener means that you need to understand the context, and you need to know if you are in the same context as your audience. Be timely. Control of body language. Use appropriate language. Ask questions. Be aware of reactions. Because body language is not just for the person who is talking. Body language could be for your audience too. Because you can realize, you can know the emotions and attitudes. And that will help you to change the way that you are talking, to change the way that you are communicating. All of these elements are very important for a good and for an effective communication. And at this time, is for questions or comments. If there is no question or comments, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.